Hello everyone, I'm Simon Ford of Ford's Gin. Martinis, gin and tonics, Negronis, great classic cocktails is what I'm about, but I also love to hear from great bartenders from around the world, which is why we've partnered with Beyond the Drink for this season. Cheers.
Well, you just heard from the man himself, Simon Ford, and we're glad this season of Beyond the Drink is once again brought to you by our friends at Ford's Gin. I'm Cappy, and in this series, we're going behind the bar. It's time to explore the journeys of the world's best bartenders, uncovering their passion, the latest gin trends, and of course, the social impact they make in their community. Beyond the Drink airs every other week, right here on Beyond the Plate. If you're new to the pod, welcome. If you've listened before, we're glad you're back. Let's go Beyond the Drink. Cheers. Today's guest, while originally from Miami, has been one of the leading voices and pioneers of the Nashville bar scene. More on her in the episode notes, or you could follow her on Instagram at Alexis M. Soler. Please enjoy this episode as we go beyond the drink with Alexis Soler. Okay, Alexis, Miami to Nashville feels like a very big jump. And so I'm curious, when you moved from Miami to Nashville, what was the biggest shock for you, creatively or culturally?
When I moved to Nashville, it was about 15 years ago, and I left behind a lot of Miami, but also, I moved to Nashville, which was a lot slower pace. So a lot of, not a lot of restaurants, not a lot of bars outside of dive bars, some of the best in the world here, but I was definitely lacking some stuff, but it really actually got me to leave behind what I thought I knew and kind of jump into what I knew that I knew, if that makes sense, and really just rediscover the kind of person that I was and wanted to be, which was fun for me.
That's cool. It's interesting because, as you alluded to, you were there, the Nashville everyone talks about today was so different than 2010, 2011 Nashville. And it's been growing. People talk about how Austin has developed and Nashville is similarly developing like that, which I would say it's going much quicker than Austin did. But now that it's been growing so fast, how do you keep things fresh and stay ahead with the projects that you work on?
I like to go out and eat. I like to travel. I think a lot of people, I think, carry that into what they do and what inspires them. But I think that I really try to stay true to myself and what I enjoy. I like, developing flavors. I like approaching hospitality in a different way. I come from high volume, but I also come from this cocktail world. So I definitely like to combine the two. I come from Miami. So, I have this party bar foundation of people should be dancing and interacting and having fun and meeting, new people and experiencing new energy. So I like to bring that.
What do you love most about being behind the bar or creating cocktails?
I haven't been behind the bar in some time. I pull a guest shift every now and again, make sure I still got it. But I do love creating cocktails. I have a running list of just flavor profiles that I think of in my phone. And then, if I'm creating a menu, I'll take all those flavor profiles and bring them to life. So that's kind of my process there and what I enjoy. But I do really enjoy the hospitality aspect of it most, and developing bartenders and showing them their own strengths is what I love.
That list of flavors and whatnot, what inspires you? Is it you randomly think of something? Are you seeing something? Are you reading something? What inspires you to write a flavor combination or something you want to explore? What inspires you to add it to that list?
It's kind of all over the map. It could be a dish I had, which it often comes from. It could be a conversation that I'm having about my chef at the restaurant, that the newest project that I'm working at, he is really into fermentation. So that's kind of where this new drink that one of my favorites right now comes from, which is this fermented honey cocktail.
Got it. Okay, let's let people know what you do. Where are you now? What are the projects you're up to now?
So 1111 is my most recent. It opened less than 3 months ago. It's an 11-seat restaurant and opens up to kind of a lounge bar, cocktail room that kind of can turn into a discotheque, club atmosphere late night. So kind of runs the gamut on an like a night out. But a lot of Vietnamese flavors there. Both of my business partners are Vietnamese. So there's just a lot of influence there. But that's been really fun for me because I've never done like a fine dining like concept like this. So it's really just lets me hone my skills in hospitality and like attention to detail.
Yeah. I feel like beyond creating cocktails or bartending, you have your hands in many other aspects of the hospitality experience. Can you speak more to those? And were you involved in design and things like that of this news concept?
Yes. So I'm interested in a lot, and I get to like kind of dream up something and like design it and create it and then make it come to life and then also like operate it. So I kind of do a lot there, but also like design is my favorite. It's like, the lighting, the music, the, aesthetics, like it all matters. And part of the hospitality experience, it's just like, I like thinking about what's beyond, like what people can actually touch, like what's tangible. And that's like where I really get to shine there.
What's your favorite part of the process of all of that? Like, are there like creating a new establishment? Like, do you have a favorite part of the process?
Yes, I think it's like that in between. I like doing hard things. I like doing difficult things because it really shows you who you are at your core, like strips down all of the bullshit. And it really like pushes you to grow and learn about yourself and trust your team and like rely on your skills. So I like that part, that opening part where you're like scrambling to get open and it's like really hard. You're working crazy hours and you're just like making it come to life. Like, cause there's that moment right before when it's like designed and you have all these things and you're like, oh, it looks great. And then you have to like cram, like to just make it like push it to that like last 5% is always like the hardest. And I just love that part.
Do you think you'd ever go more all in to the design aspect of hospitality?
Yeah, I'm trying to calm down.
Are you not? You seem pretty calm.
I am like externally, but inside I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's funny. Okay. So explain to everybody listening, how did you get here? Like give us a quick like snippet of your journey.
So I was born and raised in Miami, like you said, and I knew I was going to do this from a very, very young age. The first time I ever walked in a bar, I was like just turned 17 and I was like enthralled by the room that I was walking into and like the freedom that people felt in a bar and like the connection and like the music and like the energy. It was just like, I was blown away and I'd never really like been in a room like that before. And I actually ended up working there like a few months after. I left high school at a young age and started working in bars because it's just what I knew. It's what I wanted to do.
And you loved that first bar?
I did for a minute.
How long did you work there?
I don't really remember. It was probably about a year and then had like other jobs. Like I really got into it. And I explored a bunch of different things. So I was a server at like a jazz bar down the street called Bougainvilleas. I don't know if you ever went there. I know you lived in Miami for a moment. It was in South Miami. The Booby Trap is there now, if you're into that.
And then you were at Purdy Lounge.
I was, yeah. Staple of Miami Beach. Worked for Dan Binkwitz. He's still one of my best friends and also my business partner. And then Florida Room, which was my next move after Purdy. And so I was there. I worked with John Lemaire, Josh Wagner, and kind of learned that other side. Like it was the first like real cocktail bar, definitely like volume cocktail bar in Miami at the time. It was 2007. So I was kind of early in that world too. John kind of called me one day and was like, hey, I heard you were looking for a job. I was like, I'm not looking for anything, but thanks. And he's like, just come in for an interview. And so I ended up like working with him and opening the Florida Room, which was a great experience. Like great, like you had to be there. It's kind of time and a place. It was very special. And then kind of moved to Nashville because I'd visited and kind of got the idea in my head that like, I don't know if you're ever even been to Miami and it's not like real life sometimes. So
more than sometimes,
kind of just rediscovering like, what is real life? Like, what do I want to experience now after, this? And so kind of found a home in Nashville thinking this is the way real people live, whatever that means.
What types of things did you learn from Josh or John working at a place like the Florida Room that you like took with you to Nashville or still use to this day?
That's such a good question. I think that, I always try to be like better every day. That's kind of my like motto for like my life when I wake up. You know, I have a lot of like isms that like belong to Josh and John, but like I think ultimately, I think what I do take from that experience was like the sense of team and camaraderie and how strong your team can be and what a beautiful thing that you can create if you just like trust your people. And it's like you just dial in and like understand what people want in that moment. Like I think like the way people go out like evolves constantly, right? And I think what we were doing was special because like I think it was different and it wasn't done before in Miami. And I just think that like we gave people something that like they hadn't experienced. And I always trust myself because of that.
That's cool. That's very cool. That's a good compliment to them. So you started hitting upon this cocktail that related to fermentation, I believe, but I'm curious. We like to ask if there's a go-to cocktail that our guests are into at this moment or something they're making these days on one of their menus. Can you share a little bit more about that cocktail? You started to talk about the flavors.
Yes. She's called the Universe Explained. It's like a fermented honey, mezcal, and golden beet juice, fresh juice always. Yeah, just like creates this really good texture. Like the earthiness from like the honey and the beet play really well. Just like really interesting texturally as well.
That sounds good. Are you talking and working with the chef often, like with cocktails to see what he has going on the food side of the menu, ingredient wise, or not necessarily?
There, I guess, is like, you know, it's like you're always talking about flavors when you're like working with food and drink. So inevitably, like, yes, there is like talk of like, you know, we inspire each other. And I think that's part of a good partnership.
I never thought about this really, but you know, people think that oftentimes a cocktail may derive from something on the food menu or some ingredient or dish on the food menu. But I have to imagine with someone like you, like golden beet juice, fermented honey mezcal, like those flavors sound so delicious together. And I have to wonder if there's this class of bartenders like yourself that in turn is inspiring a chef, you know, on the food side. No question there, but I just, you know, it's just interesting how people may think a cocktail may, I don't know, be inspired by the food menu, but I want, there's got to be some cases on the flip side of that where you make a cocktail and the chef is probably like, holy crap.
I saw a vodka Red Bull pasta on a menu recently.
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't know.
When you see that, are you like, zero chance I'm ordering that? Or are you like, I need to order that because I'm so curious what the hell I'm doing?
Kind of both, just for fun.
Did you or no?
I didn't this particular time.
Okay, so can you share what's exciting to you these days in the world? I'm curious about gin, but really anything in the bartending space. Is there anything in the world of gin you're doing or seeing people do with it? I feel like things like the martini and Negroni and all the classics and good things are exciting, but anything else?
I mean, gin in particular is just, I'm a martini drinker. I love like martini and like a good talk, you know. I think it just like escalates quickly. It's really like fun, you know, you like get this jolt of energy. It's, I don't know, I enjoy it. Like a perfect martini is like super cold and perfectly diluted. It just should be, it's just a good time. So I love gin, but I think otherwise, I don't know, like we don't, in Nashville, when I moved here, we didn't have access to like any, like we had a lot of whiskey at our fingertips, but like barely any mezcal, like, you know, not a lot of tequila. So really exciting because like now we have this like a bunch of like mezcals, a lot of tequila coming to market, you know, because it's just like you love what you love and you want to share that with people. And when you have limited access, it does like keep you from like really doing your job if you want to.
What's your martini order?
It's a 3-to-1 with discarded lemon zest and just an olive, or I love a Gibson as well.
All right, cool. I like to ask bartenders when they realize they had made it as a bartender. So you could take that question as is and answer when you realized you made it as a bartender. But I'm also curious, you seem to have this sense of like mentorship or teaching or developing bartenders. When did you feel that you can step aside a little bit more in your bars and trust and train people to execute your vision?
Yeah, I think that's like the challenge stepping off the bar is like really getting people to understand like who you are. I think most of my life, the way I trained people was working next to them and having to like flip that and just kind of really hone in my communication skills and just inspire people with words was really different. So it's been fun for me to like evolve that part of myself and show people not by standing next to them, but by like, you know, telling them and like showing them through like action and speech. So yeah, that's like what I love to do now.
Yeah. And you've had some great spots in Nashville. And after all those that you've done, where do you go from here? What's the North Star for Alexis Soler?
A couple of things. If you know me, like, you know, I like, you know, jumping out of airplanes and climbing mountains and stuff like that. So that's just, I would love to do more of that because I love working too, but I love being like outdoors. And then, you know, I have a couple of things up my sleeve that I'm thinking about diving into, but nothing worth talking about yet.
Got it. All right. Mountain climbing. That's wild. Have you done a lot of mountain climbing?
I lived on a glacier in Alaska this summer for 12 days, kind of like a survival kind of situation. It was like a mountaineering course to learn how to climb big mountains. I was in the Denali Range there.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our Beyond the Plate and Beyond the Drink listeners know that we celebrate social impact with all of our guests. And it's truthfully no different than all the bartenders we speak with. Learning how you all do it keeps us going. So I would love for you to shed some light on a cause or a charitable organization that you'd like to raise awareness for, to just, you know, show how you give back a little. It could be a story or anything that comes to mind for you.
I like to talk about this a lot, but I like to make sure that, you know, I like to look behind me in my bar, right? Like align with brands that align with your values, you know, align with brands that do give back and that align with your causes. And then also I've raised a lot of money for national parks over the years. I love the outdoors. They're very valuable to me and taught me a lot about myself and continue to teach me. And I think it's a good outlet for bartenders to get out there and like just be in nature. And then also one of my best friends passed away. She was supposed to open 1111, which is my newest project with us, but she didn't get to see it open, unfortunately. So we will be starting a foundation for her with this new project.
It's so nice. It's so nice. I'm sorry to hear that. Those are great things and great things that you are shining a light on, and so important, and just goes to show how generous everybody in the industry is across so many different platforms. And all those things are so incredibly important. In an odd way, that first thing you said like stuck with me about looking at your back line and knowing the brands and the ingredients and the products. That comes up a lot on our Beyond the Plate episodes with the chefs, and knowing where your ingredients come from and how they're grown and things like that. And I feel like there's a handful of chefs and bartenders who know that and are mindful of that. And I think it's just going to keep getting bigger and more important for some of these big brands that you see behind a bar. It's not just, I mean, yeah, there will always be like a bottle of vodka, a bottle of tequila, whatever it is. But I think with the real class of bartenders and talent like yourself, really learning about the spirits and what they stand for, and like Ford's Gin, you know, they're part of this podcast, but all they do to give, you know, back to the community of bartenders and beyond. I think it's such an important thing to think about and to look at when you work in a bar or restaurant or wherever it may be. So thanks for raising that. That was a great point. All right, closing it out here, we have an audio newsletter that we do every other Monday here on Beyond the Plate called Heard. And I like to share a few things on my plate. Could be a restaurant, a recipe, an ingredient, runs the gamut, a cookbook, you know, whatever it may be. And we get some great little bits from chefs and bartenders. And so I would love to have you share one thing on your plate that we can feature on a future Heard episode.
Oh, there's so many. What comes to mind now, I have two things. Really excited about like cat's vinegar. I know that's like not new, but like it's something new to me that I really enjoy.
Cats from like like the Sonoma or Napa area?
Yes.
Oh, so good. KATZ, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And the other thing, I love like aesthetics and I love plateware. So like Jono Pandolfi, like their like ceramics are just like stunning and so fun to eat off of. And I have like a bunch of samples in my kitchen of different plates from them. And I'm just like, one day I'm going to have a whole set of these.
I love it. Those are two good things. Love those. Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with us. Really grateful for the incredible bartending industry and community. You guys are a joy to talk to and so damn talented and so generous. And I look forward to seeing what's next for you, whether in or out of the bar. But until then, I will hit you up next time I'm in the Nashville area.
Yeah, I can't wait to host you.
Awesome. Thanks, Alexis.
Thanks, Andrew.
Find all social media links for myself, Beyond the Plate, and Beyond the Drink guests in the episode notes and on beyondtheplatepodcast.com. As always, big thanks to the whole Beyond the Plate team. Don't forget to join us back here next Wednesday for an episode of Beyond the Plate and every other Monday right here for Heard, our short audio newsletter where I'm sharing what's on my plate, from culinary insights to restaurants and recipes, all in just a few minutes. And if you have a moment, we'd be grateful for your support by rating, reviewing, and even hitting that subscribe button to the podcast. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Drink, a production of Beyond the Plate. I'm Cappy.